quite difficult at first to understand what the hell someone's talking about when they talk about awareness. It's something that we've never spent much time occupying ourselves with, although it's there all the time and always has been your whole life. But when you hear being in awareness or in presence, and especially when you come through the cloud of esoteric ideas and language that most people walk through to arrive to this point, then your head is jumbled up with all of these ideas of what meditation should be, and it's as if you get lost in the mist of all of this. So that when you arrive at awareness or presence, and you often arrive there unwittingly, you don't recognize it because you're expecting something phantasmagorical. But that's not what it is. It's right in front of your face and always has been the whole time. And in some ways it's really disappointing, I'm sure for lots of people. But arriving at awareness is the simplest thing. So if you sit now, for example, and just observe reality, what you perceive through your eyes, what you feel through your fingers, rather cold this morning, sounds, pressure of the tree. And just don't judge those things, just allow them to be there. I mean, that's what they are, they're there. Birds. And then examine, watch thoughts. Wait until a thought arises. Observe the thought arising, and then it goes. And then the next thought comes, or a feeling, and goes, or a memory, and goes. And in the space in between those two thoughts, or the thought and the feeling, what happened? What was there? Well, nothing. I was just sort of sitting waiting for a thought. I is sitting waiting for a thought. So what's that I then that's sitting waiting for a thought? And now you can leave the thoughts to do their thing and just concentrate on the I. And when thoughts come or sounds come or anything else comes, you can just let that come and let it go, because you know that they're things that come and go. But if you stay with the I, you can examine that and ask, does this come and go? Does it change? And even when I'm occupied with thoughts, or looking at this, or doing that, or listening to somebody, or that's there, always in the background. And one of its characteristics is it's peaceful, still. And even if you recall an emotion now, for example, say anger, in the presence of presence, you can't really feel the anger at the same time as presence. It's as if when you're present, presence pushes those things out, pushes those things away. And if you go now from presence back to thoughts, happenings in the world, then you find that all the time that's going on, presence is always there. And not only is it always there, but without awareness, those things would not be happening. Without the awareness of seeing colours, hearing birds, feeling the cold, none of those things would be present. Those things are ever-changing, an ever-changing flow, current of events happening in awareness. The constant narrative that's going on, the inner dialogue, emotional, verbal, everything, is happening in awareness. And it's funny, sometimes you can catch yourself speaking to somebody and you realize suddenly all of this narrative, this story I'm telling somebody about myself, is a story I've told myself, but you're watching that from awareness and you realize this is just identity, coming and going, ever changing, a constant changing flow. But the awareness never changes, it's the same. And you see it in other people when they're talking to you. I am like this, I vomited up, you know. I had the experience not long ago of exactly that, as if this person was verbally vomiting all over me, which might have made me angry in another situation or whatever, but in this moment it made me smile. This is like a book, a storybook that somebody's believed and is telling themselves and is now telling you about themselves. But behind that is their awareness. The only thing that is constant, unchanging, peaceful, and arguably there isn't their awareness and my awareness, but only awareness, consciousness, so that actually it's one and the same. This is consciousness there, playing this role, while consciousness is also here, playing this role, and that role, and this role, and that role, and so on. And it becomes increasingly easier to remain in awareness, to not be led off by thoughts, emotions, sights, sounds, to not be accosted, kidnapped by feelings, dragged off into the woods, to be beaten over the head. The more resistance you have to being dragged off into the woods, the more grip the feelings and thoughts have on you. You're offering them resistance, that's what they want. Whereas if you become soft and pliable, if you become like water, there's nothing to grab, and they very quickly get bored and leave you alone. So a signature of being in and falling out of awareness is resistance. When you sit and you feel resistance in any form, that's a signature of, oh, I'm being pulled out of awareness. I'm going to fall back again. And the first two worlds, everything that you see externally, everything that you think and feel internally, are useful. Instead of seeing them as enemies, things to be confronted and defeated, be thankful and see them as a help. Every single one of those events is a reminder that I am hearing that. Of course I can just hear it, but the fact that I hear it is a reminder. Awareness. Awareness. It's why Zen monks or Zen masters would go into lessons with their students, sit down, a bird would sing, they would let the bird sing until the end, get up and walk out. That was the lesson. That seems bizarre to some people and to us, but that's the lesson. The lesson is, you have just been aware, now stay there. It's a similar thing if I say, be aware, or listen to the train, listen to the bird, listen to the dog barking. You know, can you hear this? Can you see that? And then I say to you, are you aware? You just referred to all of those things. Can you hear the dog barking? Oh yes, I can. Can you see that over there? Yes, I can. Are you aware? What do you refer to? You, for a second, you go, yes, I am. Right, do that again, except this time just stay there. Don't come back out again. It really isn't that difficult. And the reason it's so easily overlooked is because it is so patently obvious and simple, and has been there for all of your life. And so it's ignored, like the toenail on your little toe. And yet it's the most precious thing. An existence without awareness would be no existence. And it's also no thing. All of these other things are events, happening, things. A thought is a thing because it comes and goes, it's an object. But awareness doesn't come, doesn't go, doesn't change. Is constant, peaceful. And so it's no thing. Hope that helps.